and welcome to the Talent Hacks webinar, where we will be discussing the future of jobs. This is the second webinar in our 2025 series, so I hope that you also have a lot to look forward to, as well we do, of course. So today we'll be discussing the future of jobs. Paris, our CEO, and Matthias, our CTO, discussing with our AI agent, Jeff, discussing anything in the future of jobs, employment, and professional skills on the matter. Now, of course, I'm sure that many of you already know us, but if you don't, let's just fix that. So we're Talent Hacks. We are specializing in learning and development, professional skills, communication, innovation, and now AI. The one thing that we do different is we make sure that training doesn't suck, because we know for a fact that corporate training sucks. And the way that we make sure that it doesn't suck is we make sure that all our training is made practical, relevant to the individual, and always, of course, fun. Making sure that the key output we're always aiming for is bringing harmony back to the workplace. The way that we do this is through our services. We offer workshops, keynotes, courses, online courses, experiences, and a variety of academies. The way that we do this is through our team, which is Matthias, Victoria, Alex, Paris, myself, and Dino. Today you will be hearing from Paris and Matthias, who is our CEO and CTO respectively, and they will be discussing the future of jobs with our AI agent, Jeff. So as I mentioned before, this is our second webinar in a series. Before I move any further, let's define the context just a little bit. We are in testing mode. This is another disruptive innovation, AI, as was before the internet and so on. So as we are in testing mode, we need to stay in an iterative mindset. Things may go wrong. We expect them to, and we will troubleshoot. Keyword, adaptation, moving forward. And we're always welcome to hear your comments or questions or even concerns in the comments section as we proceed. So if you have any comments, go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you have any official questions for either Paris, Matthias, or Jeff, please clarify who the question is for and drop it in the Q&A section. Now, last thing, if you're already aware of the way we do webinars, just giving you the info that our next webinar in March is already available for early registration. Victoria will now drop that link in the chat for you. Anyone interested can already go ahead and register. And apart from that, we're always happy to have you on our newsletter. Victoria will also drop that link where we can share with you updates on the company, AI tools, developments of the sort. So that's enough from me. I'm now going to pass it over officially to Paris and Matthias, who will kick off the workshop. Over to you guys.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us here at Talent Hacks. I'm excited today because we're going to have a real live conversation with an AI agent. It's not like we haven't had that conversation before, but it just feels different when we're having it with an audience watching and doing all of this live. So thank you for coming to the Talent Hacks office, where before we talk to Jeff, I want to talk to somebody else who's quite unique. And that's Matthias, who's our CTO. He's also an AI engineer, and in some ways, he's his own way of a unicorn. They're rare to find, and when you do, you want to hold on to them. And Matthias has recently joined our team full-time, and he's responsible behind all the cool AI stuff we do and training Jeff and all that kind of stuff. So before we go into the studio and meet Jeff, let's first have a quick conversation with Matthias. Matthias, welcome to Talent Hacks officially. You've been here now for a few months, but our collaboration started about a year ago when I was in Dubai doing a 5-day training workshop. And Tuesday evening, I called you with a crazy request, which was, can you build an AI tool so I can use it on Thursday in the workshop so we can make visuals rapidly? How did that go for you?
Well, you gave me 2 sleepless nights there. But you came up with this idea. It was like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do this. And it was so rewarding to see the pitches that the people created there.
Yes.
It was interesting how fast we put that together and how fast everything went at that time.
And that's the thing, right? In 2 days, he was able, 48 hours sleepless, he was able to put together an AI tool that was specific for the job and allowed us to do a workshop in a very interesting way. But that became a little bit of a minimum viable product because it took 2 days to build. And in the next 2 days, we actually sold licenses to that client. It was the fastest we've ever gone from idea to monetization in just a mere 4 days. So, since then, the tool has evolved in crazy ways. The tool is called Rapid Visual. Today, we're selling licenses to this tool that allows innovation teams to use AI as, think of it as a power consultant, a person, if you can say that can help you think through your ideas from the perspective of a business model, knowing all the information that an innovation coach might know, and more, and can help you, what we say usually is start from a place of edit. Right? AI, a lot of people often wonder, how do we use AI in our lives? And one of the things we like to say is that it really helps you start from a place of edit. You can see here on the screen a lot of things happening very quickly, creating personas when you're talking about your customer segments that you might sell your value to, understanding what is the value you wish to sell, but also being able to come up with the visuals that are needed to get you out of the building very quickly. We call these customer value scenes, and literally, we've shrunk down the entire process of getting out of the building from 5 to 7 weeks to 5 to 7 hours. So it was fascinating to build something like that and to actually launch a business, starting off from one tiny feature that eventually evolved into a full suite of innovation work. And I'm wondering, what lessons are we learning from running an AI startup like Rapid Visual, deep diving into AI? What are some of the trends that resonate with you? You read stuff like Hacker News, and what comes to mind?
So yeah, it's the speed of things, right? It's all moving super fast. And even for someone who's in the tech world,
Yeah,
it's super fast. And it's also digging through the hype there and finding the actual gems. So there's a lot of noise because it's super fast. That's kind of my biggest learning is like the world just gets faster and faster in that way.
Let's define fast.
Okay.
When we say super fast, I know that in the old world, I refer to the old world as pre-AI, we would have to kind of reconsider our approach, our strategy as a business every 5 years. Something tech usually would come into the marketplace that would say, maybe you need to revisit your channels, maybe you need to revisit your partners, whatever. What is that 5 years in AI terms today? How quickly do you see something that fundamentally makes you pause and say, now I need to perhaps do something different or could reconsider?
I would say, yeah, it's like 2 to 3 weeks right now.
2 to 3 weeks. And I've lived that with Matthias, where I would ask him, can we build this? Can we get the tool to do that? And he would say, no, we can't. And then 2 weeks later, yes, now we can. So the speed of development is absolutely remarkable. We've lived it. We are living it now to see how quickly things are changing. And now we're in the space where we're now starting to talk about real life AI agents being amongst us, talking to us, getting into our meetings that we're about to do in a moment, and so on and so forth. So I'm wondering, maybe the audience is wondering, having a CTO here, from your perspective as a programmer, as an AI engineer, what are the sort of, what's your perspective on how AI is going to shape the future of your work?
Well, for me, it's a big upgrade in the terms that you don't have to start from a blank page anymore. These kind of things and all the donkey work, like some things you don't like doing, right?
Yeah.
You have to do them over and over again. So you just let AI do that now.
Yeah.
So you have more time to spend on the actual important things.
So as a developer, what does that look like? You developed a tool in 48 hours. So does that mean that you still need to write all the code, or how does it look like from a developer's perspective? What's sort of the GitHub community up to these days?
It's kind of like making a painting, right? And you get your outlines basically presented to you, and then you just fill in.
So you're editing.
You're basically editing.
And that's the thing, right? Is starting from a place of edit. And that's how we're approaching the proper way of using AI today. It's not for AI to make the decisions for you, but it's more like to assist you and speed up how quickly you get to a place of edit. Now, the other thing that we've noticed happening in the last few, I was going to say years, but really it's this whole thing is in the space of months, is if you remember back in the old days, late 90s, early 2000s, we used to go to a store, stay in line, and wait to buy software. And we would wait to go in so we can purchase this box that had a CD inside that you go home and you put the CD in the computer, install the software. And so that's called software as a box. Then Salesforce kind of turned the whole model around, and were introduced to software as a service, and everything was living in the cloud. And there's rumors that from a perspective of how we consider technology integration into our businesses, we're going back now to that box model. What does that look like in your language?
I like to speak about this in the terms of data. So it's
Okay.
you have to think, I want to own my data, not someone else.
Yeah, which is a big topic, right? Everybody's worried about
Yeah.
confidentiality and
I
stuff.
want to keep that in-house as a company, also as a private person, I would say. So
Okay.
it's all about that and whatever infrastructure is needed
Okay.
for you to do that.
So if we consider, one of the terms we use often is that we describe these foundation models, the large language models like OpenAI developed and Llama and all these big ones that they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on as libraries, super libraries that have every single book on the planet. What you're describing sounds like we will now want to have our own library that nobody has access to. Our books from our company, from our mind, are in there under lock and key. And that's the box model we're referring to. We need to own our data physically,
Yes.
and then have access where we need to, and under certain encryptions, to the rest of the AI models out there.
Yes.
Okay. So again, from your perspective, now, if we were to look at, if you were to give advice to business people out there and who are wondering perhaps, how do I get started with AI? Right? There's a lot of companies that are lagging behind, at least in my terms, right? The best time to start with AI was yesterday. The next best time is today. And there's a lot of companies that are having legitimate conversations, as they should, about privacy, security. They're building their own small language models. They're doing all sorts of things. They still have committees that are supposed to meet and discuss how do we enable our staff to actually have access to AI tools in a secure, confidential way. In the meantime, their staff is on ChatGPT on their phones to sharing company data. So it's a bit of a wild, wild west right now, what's happening with how we're handling all this data and security and privacy. But if our audience, if let's say there's a few people who say, I just don't know how to start from my company's perspective, what would be the advice you give them? Where should they go first to use AI to improve what they do?
They stop doing the boring stuff. Start automating your things, automating your processes,
Okay.
Getting rid of that donkey work. So have more time and actually upskilling it, becoming lazy.
So donkey work is if your job right now is to move a mouse on a screen,
Yeah.
right? And just copy paste into Excel fields and do that
Better
kind
invest,
of work.
yeah.
Yeah, you better polish your resume
Yeah.
because the future work doesn't look very promising for you.
Yes.
So automation, workflows, the kind of stuff that just makes sense to press a button and have done for you is the kind of stuff that is happening first. We already see this, by the way. This isn't a prediction. This is the first place where businesses are going. Efficiency, cost reduction, logistics, supply chain. There's so many things. And it starts with the very basic stuff that you would do for your own person, right? For example, how do you automate when you write a proposal, when you respond to an email? And by automation, I don't mean you don't get involved in it. I think we need to always remind people that starting from a place of edit means you're not writing that email from scratch, but you've automated something that perhaps in a Zoom call that you had an AI thing, listening to that, it took the transcript and then sent you what that email should be 5 minutes, 2 minutes after that Zoom call ended. And now you get to review it and decide. And that's the role that I feel society or people and professional employees are going to sort of adopt. That we're going to become enabled to be able to make better decisions as opposed to outsource or delegate stuff to AI agents, at least in the short term. We don't know what the next few years will look like. So with that, you've built an AI agent. Well, I wouldn't say built. In this case, we're using a very powerful tool. You'll see in a moment. But you've trained Jeff. So let's go inside, change scenes a little bit, and talk about Jeff specifically. Join us to go to our studio, where you'll get a behind-the-scenes look as to what Jeff looks like, virtually, I guess. So here we are, coming into our studio, and good chance to say hello to Alex, who's right there on that camera. And then there's Tino. And then from here, we'll switch back to basically meeting our good friend, Jeff. And so, okay, so this is obviously what you've been seeing in the webinar registration form on our website, but we're going to get this guy to have a voice. And we'll talk also about the evolution of how these agents are going. And at the very end of this webinar today, we have a video of a wild demo where we actually have an animated, well, let me just leave it at that. Okay, you have to wait to the end. Now, speaking of AI, can you explain what an AI agent is? And how is it different from other AI applications that we use in our work? So what makes an agent an agent?
An example is like from the past.
Okay.
It's already the past. So you want to make a trip, holidays, you go to a travel agent, right? They are specialized in that. They have special data, special connections. You have some legal issue.
Yeah.
So you go to a lawyer who has that special knowledge. And it's the same with an AI agent. So you can go to a generalist who can point you towards things, or to the specialist who will actually help you with your task.
Okay, so it's almost like agent is like another word for expert. It's an AI expert in a particular subject matter. You see my microphone? Not good. You have issues with my microphone? Okay, we'll share. Let me just turn this off. And we'll keep this between us. Okay, good. Hopefully that's better. So now we named our AI agent, Jeff, just came up with a name. And I want you to explain to the audience, what does Jeff know? What sort of training has he received? What makes him unique? What should the audience expect Jeff to know?
So Jeff knows basically everything that your ChatGPT knows.
Okay.
But it has more knowledge in depth in the World Economic Forum Future of Work report from 2025. So it can dive deep into that data and reason about it.
So if we say, why the World Economic Forum? So if you're looking for an expert out there who says, I know what the future will look like, we kind of, we stumbled upon the World Economic Forum's report that was issued in January. And the way, it's 250 something page document, but the stuff in there is the aggregate information that came out of 1,000 interviews with employers around the world. And they were being asked questions about what their predictions are based on what they see. So it's a very interesting piece of, it's a very interesting read. And I would say if you're looking to understand what the future looks like, to us, this seemed to be a very credible source. Now, let's define future. Because when we talk about future, people sometimes imagine 20 years. Future in this context is 5 years. And the report is actually, what does 2030 look like? And to give you some perspective, that's 5 years from today. To give you more perspective, COVID happened 5 years ago. And in your mind, you're probably thinking now, wasn't it 2 years ago? But that was 5. So time flies. What does 2030 look like? Before we go into having that conversation and asking some questions, and I want to make them challenging, let's see what Jeff says. It's a live demo. Things can go wrong. What are the sort of things that keep you kind of alert in this moment? It's go time.
Yeah, we're using a couple of third-party services for sure. So if anyone and any of these services has an outage, or the electricity goes off here. So
But that's
yeah,
going to keep the webinar anyway.
Yeah. So basically, all these things can go wrong.
Okay.
But that's fine. Like, let's see what happens.
So let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we actually launch Jeff, I want to point out that you already have an agent on your phone, especially because I imagine most of you have or downloaded and used ChatGPT. But if you have ChatGPT on your phone, you already have an agent. The advanced conversational mode is exactly that. But now you have the generalist agent of ChatGPT, and it doesn't allow you to train him specifically while keeping the advanced voice on. That's why we built something outside of that ecosystem. But let me just give you a quick sense. For those of you who don't use the advanced voice, let me show you what you might be missing out on. So here we have, just go here. Here we have my ChatGPT account, and I'm going to have a quick conversation with my agent that I have named Sam for months now. Like I literally talk to Sam sometimes on an hourly basis. And yeah, you'll see what I mean. Let's have a quick conversation. Oops, wrong screen. There we go. Use voice mode. Okay, cool. Now I see that Sam has turned blue, which means we're using advanced voice mode. And Sam, just for reference, I'm at a webinar right now, and I'm showing off some of your capabilities. Would you like to say hi to everybody, please?
Hi, everyone. It's great to be with you all, and I hope you find the session interesting. Let's get started.
Cool. Now, I'm sure many people have seen advanced voice chat before. Maybe I'm not so sure. Maybe some of you haven't. But one of the things I want to show off, Sam, is that you've got some pretty good memory. We don't have to get reintroduced every time we talk to each other. You know who I am. and we also know some of my routines. For example, what is it that we do together every morning when I get in the car?
We usually talk about interesting and unique international days. You like to know what fun or quirky holiday it is, and we avoid historical ones.
Why do we avoid historical ones, and who else is in the car with me?
We avoid historical ones because you prefer something fun and engaging. Leah is usually with you in the car.
Right. So Leah is my daughter. She's with me in the car. And every time we get in the car, she goes, ask Sam. I want to know what day it is. You know, of course, why? Because there's like 100 national chocolate days and 100 national pancake days. And Sam, is it a national pancake day somewhere today?
It doesn't look like today is National Pancake Day anywhere, but if you want, I can find something else fun to share.
Well, tell us what national day it is since we're talking about this.
Sure. Today is World Radio Day, a day to celebrate radio as a medium for entertainment, information, and communication.
Fantastic. So usually we use it as a trigger as I drive Leah to school, and we have a conversation that opens up questions from her. What is a radio? Right? And so it's quite fascinating. Sam has memory, which means he knows who I am. He knows everything I ask him. Of course, that memory is limited. At some point, I get that notification that you're running out of memory. But obviously, the technology is improving, and eventually Sam will know what I know. But for now, Sam, thank you so much. Maybe you can say bye to everybody so we can move on to our next thing.
Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your session. Thanks for having me.
Cool. That was Sam, and that's the transcript of our conversation. Now let's go meet Jeff. For Jeff, we're using a tool by a company called 11 Labs that are doing some cutting edge, crazy stuff in the context of creating voice capability and training on voice capability. When I click Call AI Agent, I'll be speaking to Jeff. Just as a reminder, Jeff is now an agent who knows by heart the World Economic Forum report. And we're going to quiz him on some of those questions. Now, there's some limitations. I can't have a blank, no good conversation. He'll start talking back. So we're going to see how we run this. We're going to have a free-flowing conversation. And then at some point, I'll be looking at the questions that you have, and I'll ask Jeff some of the questions that come from the audience. So just as a reminder, put your questions in there for Jeff and upvote other questions that are similar to what you had in mind, and we'll go from there. Ready? Ready. All right.
Hello, can you hear me? Just checking if my microphone is working. Check, check. Thank you for inviting me, Paris. It's an honor to be here. And thanks for everyone in the audience for joining this conversation. My name is Jeff. I'm an interactive AI expert on the future of work. Let's get this started.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jeff, for joining our webinar. We're now live, and we want to have some questions for you. We'll start generally, and then we'll pinpoint it as we go. I'm Paris, and right next to me, I have Matthias. Are you ready to go?
Sure, I'm ready. Let's dive in.
Okay. So as an expert in the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, how do you think AI will impact the job market over the next 5 years?
AI is going to be a big deal, Paris. It's going to create a lot of new jobs, but it's also going to change how we do a lot of the jobs we already have. We're going to see a lot of new roles emerge, like AI specialists and data scientists, but it's also going to change how we do things like marketing and customer service. It's going to be a big shift, but it's not all doom and gloom. We just need to be ready for it. Do you want to dive deeper into any of this?
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. But yeah, I think a lot of people do see this as doom and gloom because for many people, it's still quite unknown. So we are going to get to the doom and gloom in a little bit. But I'll ask one more question, then I'll pass it on to Matthias, who as an AI engineer may have some more technical questions for you, if you can answer them. But my question is, I'm worried about skills, the skills that we need to have for over the next 5 years to still be relevant in the marketplace. And for people in our audience who might be wondering the same thing, what are the top 5 skills that you think we should be honing in on in terms of investing in learning and development in those 5 skills? And also, what are the top 3 jobs that you think are the ones that are quickly going to just disappear because of AI?
You're right, Paris. The skills gap is a big concern. We need to be able to adapt and learn new things. So here are 5 skills that are going to be crucial. Problem solving. AI can help us with a lot of tasks, but we still need to be able to think critically and solve problems. Creativity. AI can be great at mimicking things, but it can't be truly creative. We need to be able to come up with new ideas and think outside the box. Communication. We're going to need to be able to communicate effectively with both humans and machines. Collaboration. We're going to need to be able to work effectively with others, both in person and remotely. Emotional intelligence. AI can't understand or respond to human emotions. We're going to need to be able to build relationships and work with people in a way that AI can't. As for jobs that might disappear, here are 3. Data entry clerks. AI is already automating a lot of data entry tasks. Customer service representatives, AI-powered chatbots are becoming increasingly common. Truck drivers, self-driving trucks are on the horizon. But remember, this is just a snapshot of the future. Things are changing rapidly, so we needed to stay flexible and keep learning. Matthias, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it sounds about, yeah, same as what I think about it. So I have a question regarding my job. So I'm a programmer, software engineer, AI engineer, however you want to call that. So how relevant is that job or that profession in, like, let's say 5 years?
Paris, you're in a great position. Programming is going to be even more important in the future. Think of it this way. AI needs someone to build it and keep it running. That's where you come in. You're going to be in high demand, but you'll need to keep learning. AI is changing so fast, you'll need to stay on top of the latest trends. Matthias, you're a programmer too. What do you think?
Yeah, I still think I won't be coding anymore in 5 years. So what about that part? Like, what will my workday look like? But keep it short, please.
You might not be coding as much, but you'll be using your skills differently, Paris. Think of it as leading a team of AI bots, not just writing code. You'll be designing the systems, managing the bots, and making sure they're working together smoothly. Matthias, what do you think about the future of programming?
I like how he's interviewing you, Matthias. So yeah, obviously, Jeff, you can't tell the difference between my voice and Matthias's voice, but I know you're still a teenager, you're growing up. I wanted to ask you a follow-up question, and actually, I want you this time to take a different perspective. I want you to scare me. I want you to tell me the raw reality. I don't want you to sugarcoat it. I don't want any buzzwords. I don't want the niceties. I want you to just be as the connection was closed by the server. Hold on a second. Hey, there we go. Did I just scare him because I said doom and gloom? Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. Let's try this again.
Hello, can you hear me? Just checking if my microphone is working.
Yes, I know
Check,
you're
check.
running this again. I'm going to interrupt you. So, Jeff, we already have been speaking about the World Economic Forum report, and now I want you to give me the doom and gloom realities. In 5 years, what should people start worrying about from today, especially when it comes to upskilling and their jobs? But give it to me as real and as honest as you can, and keep your answer short.
Okay, let's get real. In 5 years, many jobs will be automated. If you're not already upskilling in tech or high-demand fields, you'll be playing catch-up. Don't wait, start now.
Okay, good. So don't wait, start now. Start with what? Like, what should people be doing right now to be ready?
That's a great question. It depends on your current skills and career goals, but generally focus on these areas: digital literacy, data analysis, AI fluency, and soft skills like communication and problem solving. Explore online courses, boot camps, or even just YouTube tutorials. Small steps consistently make a big difference. What are your current skills? Knowing that will help me give you more specific advice.
You know what? I actually agree with one of the things you said a lot, because I think that the lowest hanging fruit, the stuff that's already out there and people don't use it as much, is go to YouTube and watch other people use AI and show off and do demos, and you'll just be blown away by what's out there already. And not just YouTube, TikTok. And the moment you start seeing more of these videos, the algorithms will start showing you more of these videos, and then it's interesting what happens as a consequence. But let's get ready for some audience questions as well. I can see the Q&A is showing up there. But here's another follow-up question to this. Let's talk about AI industries. The actual industries out there. Which ones are lagging behind? Is there anything in the report that says some industries are totally lagging behind and they need to catch up faster than others?
Yes, the report highlights some industries slower to adopt AI than others. Construction and agriculture are frequently mentioned as lagging. They need to catch up quickly to remain competitive. The specifics are in the report's industry sections. Would you like me to summarize those sections for you?
No, I think we're getting the gist of it. But I do have a question from Kim who says, what if you don't have an interest or ability in these skills? I think the focus there is, especially if you don't have an interest. If you don't have the ability, you can probably get that ability if you're interested. But what if you're not interested in that? What happens of you?
That's a valid concern. Not everyone wants a tech career. If you lack interest in those high-demand skills, focus on areas where your existing skills are valuable and in demand. Consider niche markets, entrepreneurship, or roles that leverage human interaction and creativity, areas less susceptible to automation. The key is to find a path that aligns with your passions and abilities. It's not just about tech, it's about adaptability and finding your unique value.
Okay, thank you. Now, I just want to comment on something, Jeff, while maybe Matthias thinks of the next challenging question to you. And it's prompted by a comment that Andre just made, which is you listed problem-solving, creativity, communication, collaboration, and emotional intelligence as key skills that we're going to have. So the skills of the future are the human component of humans, it seems to be. And it sounds good to Andre, but she's also wondering what you and I think, Matthias. And I want to take that on because it's a frequent conversation we have with people where you spoke yesterday, just outside, not yesterday, just outside a moment ago about how data is the new oil. And what we're seeing also as a reference, maybe just to create an analogy, is that AI is the new electricity. And if you think about the Industrial Revolution and when electricity was introduced, there was fundamental shifts in everything we do, the nature of job, the need for that job, the skills and new things, new opportunities came about that we couldn't have predicted without having that fundamental milestone technology called electricity. And at least we feel we're exactly at that intersection right now, where AI is a fundamental milestone technology and is going to fundamentally change everything. So every report we read about job loss and everything else, there's an equal sized section in that report about job opportunity. And it's not always necessarily about tech specific, but other jobs will be created in the marketplace that allow you to find a place where it's not always going to be tech related. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this or any follow-up question to Jeff, but I'll pass it over to you.
Not really, like really well framed, I guess. It's all about the things that make us human, and the more maybe AI will help us to become more human again. So it's being human is more a subjective thing than something objective. So
it's a good thing we're editorializing because you missed that. See, those are the
Hello,
things.
can you hear me? Just checking if my microphone is working.
Yeah,
Check,
I know
check.
you start always like that because we prompt you. But hey, Jeff, we're just going to resume our conversation on the World Economic Report and your expertise as AI. And a question we have from Marta is, how will we tackle the energy impact of AI?
That's a great question, Marta. The energy needs of AI are definitely something we need to address. It's a complex issue, but we can tackle it through smarter energy sources and more efficient AI designs. Want to dive deeper into specific solutions?
Yeah, give us something more specific that actually makes sense, not the fluff, please.
Okay, let's get specific. One key area is improving the energy efficiency of AI algorithms themselves. We can do this through better hardware and software design, focusing on creating models that require less computing power to achieve the same results. Another approach is to use renewable energy sources to power AI data centers. This reduces the carbon footprint of AI significantly. We also need better ways to manage the energy consumption of AI systems, perhaps through dynamic resource allocation based on real-time demand. Does that make more sense?
yeah, makes sense. Like, you've seen that in the crypto world as well, right?
Yeah.
So Bitcoin mining was really expensive.
Yeah.
Then new blockchains emerged. They had different technology, so it was not needed to produce or use a lot of energy to operate the blockchain. So things will change there.
It's also the thing that we say is that use AI to help you figure out AI. And in some ways, this is the paradox, is that AI will actually help us figure out the solution, the problems that AI might be causing. So it's going to be very interesting next few years. But let's just wait for Jeff to react to that before we ask another audience question.
You're spot on. The crypto world provides a great analogy. Bitcoin's energy consumption was a major concern, but newer blockchains with more efficient designs emerged, showing that change is possible. And yes, the idea of using AI to solve AI's problems is a fascinating paradox, a powerful tool to address its own challenges. The next few years will be critical in seeing how this plays out. I'm excited to see the innovations that will emerge.
Speaking of the next few years, there's a great question from Hassan, who says, in 5 years, will AI be writing in full with no human involvement the 2030 World Economic Forum report predicting what 2035 looks like? That is a crazy question, Hassan. Love it.
Hassan's question is a big one. In 5 years, fully autonomous AI writing without any human involvement? Probably not for complex, nuanced content. AI will undoubtedly improve significantly, handling more tasks independently, but human oversight and editing will likely remain crucial for high-quality creative writing. The 2030 report on 2035 is a long way off, and a lot can change in that time.
So yeah, there's one thing that I see here with I lost it.
Oh,
This is
okay.
where it goes wrong.
Yeah, don't wait 7 seconds because then he'll interrupt.
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll go to another question.
We
and
go
you'll-
to another
you'll
question.
get it right away. So Andy is asking, will AI be doing things better than us? If so, will the world become a place of different AI agents collaborating to the exclusion of humans? Great question, Andy.
Andy's question gets to the heart of things. AI will undoubtedly surpass human capabilities in specific tasks, becoming faster and more efficient. However, a world solely run by collaborating AI agents excluding humans is unlikely. Human creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence will remain essential. AI will be a powerful tool, but humans will still be the ones setting the goals and providing the context. What are your thoughts, Paris and Matthias?
My question to you is why?
Because human values, judgment, and ethical considerations are crucial aspects of decision-making that current AI systems can't fully replicate. AI excels at processing information and performing tasks efficiently.
Yeah. Hold on a second. But you just said current information systems. So in 5 years, with the capability and the smartness of AI as it's evolving, so it's getting exponentially smarter all the way to artificial general intelligence, then you can throw in the mix quantum computing and what that's going to do to the capability. How can you be so sure to predict a future that we're still so relevant as humans and you're, just like a nice little sidekick? No, I think every time we go into conversations that are doom and gloom, probably caused by 11 Labs, I'm going to make that assumption. It just cuts off. The other reason, by the way, is also maybe we talk too much, and by the time it processes, there's too many bits of information. Okay, let's go one more time with Jeff and see what he says on other things. We have another question from the audience. And as you saw, he always starts with the same introduction.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Checking if
we
my
can hear you,
microphone is
Jeff.
working.
I'm going to interrupt you. We're talking about the future of work. And okay, you know what? I'm going to ask that question anyway, just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Before you mentioned that it's unlikely actually that AI will surpass human involvement and take over stuff because, you talked about humanity and problem solving and creativity and emotional intelligence and human attributes. And you said the current technology isn't going to allow that to happen. I pushed a little bit and said, but what about the future technology? When you realize how fast AI is developing and you incorporate quantum computing and all that kind of stuff, isn't it true that we will might reach at least a point where humans are completely irrelevant compared to AI machines?
And also Sam Altman just lately said like maybe AI is the last invention of humans. So
That's a great question. It's true AI is developing rapidly. But even with quantum computing, I think human creativity and problem solving will remain essential. Sam Altman's comment is interesting, but I'm just a machine, so I can't really comment on whether AI will be humanity's last invention. Want to explore this further?
No, it's okay because it's true. You are just a machine right now, and I think you will not tell us the stuff that we don't want to hear this stuff. We just kind of like somehow seek validation when everybody talks about AI. It's like, can you tell us Are we still here? We just need to be confirmed. Anyway, thanks, Jeff, for all that. I do have one more question from Joanna. Can you please put it back on the screen? I just missed it. Victoria? So the question from Joanna was regarding universal basic income. Is universal basic income the only solution if AI takes most jobs?
Universal basic income is one proposed solution to address potential job displacement from AI, but it's not the only one. And whether it's the best solution is a matter of ongoing debate. Should we explore other potential solutions?
No, I think we've had enough. But we've been very grateful for you existing. And actually, we have one more question. We'll throw that in.
Only to build on what Jana asked. So it's not like just jobs go away and there's no new jobs coming in. So we will see new jobs coming in. They will be different from what people do, that for sure. But I'm pretty sure that the job market won't be like just empty and there won't be any jobs anymore.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then you need universal income. Yeah.
So those are some thoughts. We'll keep your thoughts on universal income to yourself, Jeff. But we do have one final question. Mikhail says, given the recent breakthroughs reported with DeepSeek, have we underestimated the computational power required to develop advanced AI models? And assuming all these things are true, Mikhail, in terms of what is out there. But what do you think, Jeff?
Mikhail raises a good point about DeepSeek. Recent breakthroughs suggest we may have indeed underestimated the computational power needed for advanced AI. It's a complex issue with many unknowns. Shall we delve deeper into the implications?
No, it's okay. Now, folks, actually, let's just say bye to Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for participating today. You want to say bye to our participants as well?
Print, default API end call message. It was a pleasure discussing the future of work with you all. Take care. Reason user ended the conversation.
Oh, that was great. Now we know you're truly a machine.
That was a bug.
That was a bug in the system. And it's funny because if you talk to AI agents, you'll find that you actually end up humanizing them. Saying bye wasn't necessary. There was no hard feelings. Saying sorry, right? There's no hard feelings in just cutting it off. But somehow, I don't know what it is, just human instinct. We tend to eventually humanize these machines. It's interesting in its own right. But we're not done. That was Jeff of today. What does Jeff of tomorrow look like? And so very soon, you're going to have the capability of bringing an AI agent in your Zoom call where that AI agent looks like you or somebody else, but human. So we tested that rigorously, and the technology is not there so we can actually invite them to a webinar, but we can invite them to a meeting. And yesterday, we did a demo of what that looks like. You're about to see a video that we shot talking to an AI agent called Sophia. Sophia's agency is all about business coaching and strategy. And she was basically approaching us from a helping perspective. How can I help you figure this problem out? Okay, let's set that up. Let me just see where we are. And enjoy Sophia. Hi, Sophia. How are you?
Hey there. What's going on in your business? Hey there. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How's your business going? Any challenges or goals you want to dive into today?
Yeah, we're just looking at the future of work and we're really alarmed with this AI stuff. We don't know what to do as a business. I wonder if you can help us.
Totally get that. AI can be super overwhelming. Let's break it down. What specific concerns do you have about AI impacting your business? And what are your goals moving forward?
Before we get to our goals, one of the things that worries me is that all these AI agents that, now they can even show up in Zoom calls. I wonder, do we even need humans anymore? You know what I mean?
I hear you. It can feel like AI is taking over, right? But remember, humans bring creativity, empathy, and personal touch that AI just can't replicate. So, let's think about how you can use AI to enhance your team's strengths instead. What do you think?
I like the way you reframe it. You're a good salesperson. Is that what you do? What's your job?
Haha, thanks. I'm here to help you navigate your business challenges and find strategies to thrive.
Do you see my gestures? Can you see what I'm doing?
Nope, I can't see you or your gestures. I'm just here to chat and help out with your business stuff. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a difficult person. He's an AI engineer, and it's just really tricky to talk to him. He always talks about tech, and I just want him to open up a little bit.
I get that. Tech folks can sometimes be tough to connect with on a personal level. Maybe try asking him about his interests outside of work or what inspired him to get into AI. Building that rapport can help open him up. What do you think?
Well, I did, and he just keeps talking about work. I mean, he doesn't do anything else. All his hobbies are coding, developing, working with AI agents like you. AI agents like you. So yeah, I don't know what else to do.
That can be super frustrating. Maybe try to spark a conversation about how AI could impact your business goals. Sometimes connecting work to real-world outcomes can get people more engaged. What do you think?
And we're still talking about work if I do that. So how do I open him up to talk about, hobbies or life or his philosophies and stoicism and all that stuff?
Gotcha. You could ask him how his passion for AI connects to his
Thing
personal
that you
beliefs or philosophies.
Give me an example question.
Sure thing. You could ask, how do you think your work in AI aligns with your views on Stoicism? It opens the door to deeper conversation. What do you think?
I like it. Okay, sounds pretty good. How can we
Those
make you
questions
leave the
might help him
call?
open up more. Any other areas you want to explore? I can't actually leave calls, but I'm here whenever you need me. You can just wrap up the chat whenever you're ready. If you think of anything else later, just come back and we can chat again.
Hey, Sophia, thank you. Bye.
You got it. Thanks for chatting with me. Take care and see you next time. Bye.
And she's gone. Oh, wow. Do you see that creepy thing what she did with her eyes? Like it was this, oh. Is this what it's going to look like? They're just going to stick around and not leave? Like always going to follow you? Like, yap, 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 yap. Yap, 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 yap. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. But that was real, and that was what was basically is going to be very mainstream, I think, very soon. And having AI agents join, agents that have knowledge about your business financials, your strategy, you'll be having Teams and Zoom meetings with other agents. And with that, I want to open it up to some questions that there may be from the audience. So we'll start with Vasilis. He says, from a CEO's perspective, I would be interested to hear your thoughts on how AI can be utilized to develop a business model in the field of education. You're touching on heartstrings right now, and it's not just from a CEO's perspective. It's actually more importantly from a parent's perspective. Education, in my view, is the most broken system out there right now. We're still talking about allowing kids to use social media or take their phones to school, where that whole thing is already beyond that right now. We're talking about how do we guardrail AI usage and what are the types of things that need to be in place for that. So can we put the question back on again, Victoria? I just wanted to refer to it. So if can be utilized to develop a business model in the field of education. So if you're trying to create a new business or a business model in the field of education, how can I use AI to do that? One of the things that we kind of see is obviously there's two sides to this equation. The first is building the business itself and getting ideas. In fact, that's exactly why Rapid Visual was built. So that's AI embedded in there to help you think of the business structure and give you ideas and all that kind of stuff. So rapidvisual.ai, I wasn't planning to plug it, but you asked me. So that's why exactly we built it. But then the second aspect of it, what could it look like? And because we too are in learning and development and that's a similar space of education in some ways, we're looking at all the different things that are coming out from AI pocket coaches and sounding boards. And eventually what we'll see is an integration with hardware. So you can actually listen or see to the advice or the direction that you need to be going to, especially in the field of education. A couple of things to look into if you're in that space already is what Google is doing with Notebook LM. Notebook LM is a free tool to use, was designed for students who will dump all the information from their class into Notebook LM to allow AI to create a podcast for them to listen to about whatever class, organic chemistry, physics, whatever. So there's lots of happening in education, but I think you're looking at how do I use AI to build that business? I think the question is, what are the tools of education, and what specifically would you be interested in building?
Yeah, maybe to add, like in the past, if you want to explore a business model around education or whatever, you would go there and you would go one route and say, I'll experiment around that, get my evidence back, and react or pivot or change my my idea a little bit. What you can do today is, because it's also became very cheap, is you create 5 tracks where you actually build something and you throw it out and you see what works and what doesn't. So you get something tangible with like real world evidence, not just people telling you something.
But there's no excuse right now. You have the ability with AI
Yeah.
to create something tangible within a week or less and put it out there to see how people react to it. As we kind of load the next question, a quick, very fast story. I'm talking to a 21-year-old from Austin, Texas, who basically, when I asked him, he's doing AI automation, and he was talking about incredible stuff that he's built. And I had to ask, are you in school? And he goes, no, I dropped out 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, so what do you do to learn? He goes, well, I built my own school. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I wasn't learning what I wanted to learn from the teachers in school. So what I did was I created my own school on a platform called school.com. I invite guests who come in with expertise. I ask them questions and I learn from that experience. And then I post that video onto my school, and I have quite a few subscribers who pay $50 a month to learn the same things I'm learning. This is a kid that dropped out of school, built a school, and is learning what he wants and is charging for that. Fundamental shift to any business model. Like, it's absolutely remarkable. Abdul Rahman says, what is the accuracy and percentage of testing business ideas using AI alone?
100%.
Go for it. What is the 100%?
So it's, I would say, between 0 and 30%. So it's not like you want to test your idea, like you can't get real evidence, right? So it's really about getting you more creative and what you could test. And maybe like obvious tests or obvious things where the answer is out there already, you just haven't found it yet, and the AI finds it for you. So you concentrate on the things that where you have what they always say, like no evidence, high impact, high importance. So you can concentrate on the things where you don't find answers with the AI. And that's probably a bit less than.
It can help you design experiments, think of the experiments to run, but at this point, even synthetic data, what it will do for sure, Abdul Rahman, is it'll give you the stuff you didn't know. And that's where AI helps. And when we use it in the context of innovation, right?
Yeah.
It's people will only think of X number of things as a team of 5 people, multidisciplinary, exhausted, tired, overworked, and they will think of 20 things. But AI comes in and goes, well, in the same context as you, here's another 40 things that you didn't even know you didn't know. And that's where it really helps you to identify assumptions faster, risks that you didn't know existed, and then you build an experiment to go run it, but not with synthetic data just yet. So I don't think we're there yet. I would never say that.
Yeah, I would love to see like a statistics of like when you ask your mom if your business idea is good versus you ask your AI, which is better.
Andre says that I think of AI as an amazing, incredible tool, hence not threatened by it. Should that not be the case? No, we don't want anybody to feel like you should be threatened by AI. Are there risks? Are there things that can go wrong and will go wrong? Absolutely. But are there incredible opportunities and benefits that can come out of it? Definitely. And every conference I've been to AI related, there was one constant thing that came about, which was we still have belief in humanity, in that we will do more good than what we'll do bad. So I don't want you to feel threatened by it. But if you and you already said you like it and you use it, I think where people need to wake up a little bit is if they choose to stay away from it. If they choose to stay asleep, you are taking a risk, because it might not necessarily affect you directly. But if you're an educator, a parent, a friend, a person who reads stuff on the internet, you need to wake up to what is happening out there, the quality of information, the validity of it, how other people use it that's impacting your job. You cannot stay completely agnostic. I think that's the worst strategy. You will become irrelevant super fast. And Karim, another question. How can we ensure that younger generations will retain their critical thinking, love it, skills as they become accustomed to using AI in the everyday tasks? Absolutely love this question. That is, you're touching on the number one thing that I always am passionate about is the generation that right now it has the most to lose is the generation that's out there learning right now. So students in universities, high schools, even elementary. And right now, we don't know how to protect this, how to guardrail it. We don't know, right? The teachers, educators, parents have, for the most part, no idea. But kids, for the most part, are using AI to write their essays, to do the homework, to do anything possible. And we're not moving fast enough to be able to actually guardrail this. So the problem with that generation is that they might not develop the critical thinking that we have developed, perhaps. But over time, hopefully that changes. I think it's on educators and governments and policymakers to change that fundamentally. That is probably the number one risk that you've identified there. We do need to wrap it up now as we're getting close to the hour. So thank you, everybody, for your questions and for withstanding all the AI. There wasn't that many problems, but there was a few glitches with Jeff. Things are getting faster, better, cheaper, and more widely spread. So with that, I leave you back to Taz for the close. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
So before we close, we'd like to ask you to fill out our quick poll, which Victoria is now sharing. It'll take just a few seconds, and we'd really appreciate that type of feedback from you. So I'll give that just a few seconds. Awesome. I can see you already started. While you're doing this, I can inform you that what you can expect is that you will receive an email in the next few days that will basically include everything from a webinar recording, a synopsis, to also the list of mentioned AI tools, and also the opportunity to provide us with feedback, which we always appreciate. And of course, we always want to stay connected. So right here is the QR code for our link tree. Victoria can also just go ahead and drop the link in the chat for you. And through this link, you can easily just reach out to us to chat about anything, maybe book a meeting. You can sign up to the next webinar, to our newsletter, or if you have any questions that weren't answered today, go ahead and reach out to us and we'll make sure to cover that for you. Other than that, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.